Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here. Today is the 21st of September 2021. Before we get into it, if I could make the usual opening request for a little favour, and that's if you would please subscribe to the channel, that'd be excellent. Every subscriber helps and is appreciated. So if you do that, that'd be excellent. Right, well, I'll have a quick look now at a band who you might have heard of, probably. Def Leppard, of course, their roots all the way back in the late 1970s, as the new wave of British heavy metal was taking off, and along with another lot who had their roots back then, who were named after a medieval torture device. No prizes for guessing there. You know, Def Leppard are probably a lot, along with that other lot, that one of the most successful bands which take their roots from those original new waves of British heavy metal days, and of course going on to well, spectacular success over the decades since, and are still active and raking it in even today. But way back then in the late 1970s, Def Leppard, being from Sheffield, you know, my hometown favourites, so many a time in and around Sheffield in some interesting and usually very small venues, and even one evening schlepped over to Manchester on the train to see him support Sammy Hagar, and got the last train home as soon as they went off stage. But anyway, then they really looked like they were going to go somewhere then, but well, they did in fact, didn't they? And that initial EP that they put out way back in the old days, and how I wish I still had my copy of the original pressing of that, but I don't. That EP, those 3 tracks on it, showed what a brash, confident, talented mob they were, and you know, set themselves apart all the way back then on the express elevator to the top. But that would be surely as a hard rock metal act, wouldn't it? And surely their debut album would cement that opinion, wouldn't it? Well, depends on your opinion, and in my opinion, that debut album, On Through the Night, is where it all started to go wrong. And I've not really had any time for Def Leppard since well, 1980 really, when On Through the Night came out. In my opinion, that terrible cheesy cover, I mean, what the hell is all that about? And the production, which just sucked the life out of it for me. That, you know, all that heaviness, that riffage, it's all gone. It's too slick, it's overproduced, it's just lame in my opinion. Well, take the opener for example, Rock Brigade. That should really hit you straight between the eyes, shouldn't it? But it doesn't. Well, it just doesn't have anything to it really. It's just there's no bite, there's no atmosphere, there's no nothing. Hello America perhaps gave a hint as to where the band's attention was turning even back then, with one eye on the vast untapped fortunes to be made over there. Slick, glossy, boring. Sorrow is a Woman, misfiring ballad, just doesn't do anything. And even tracks which you know, which the pre-album stuff, such as Rocks Off, Wasted, Satellite, Overture, any power and swagger that was there was sucked out of them by the production on Through the Night. And for me, in my opinion, it's a big miss. And I know I'm probably in the minority here, but this is just my opinion. And if yours is different to mine, that's fine. You know, no problem there. But after On Through the Night came out, Def Leppard, no thanks. At various times during the 1990s, I was, well, somewhat reluctantly dragged to see him a few times by an old flame who did like the band. But for me, those evenings were hollow, just soulless affairs, no atmosphere, no nothing up there on stage. Perhaps I should have took a good book. Anyway, I got my revenge on her because I took her to see Rush a few times, which you know, she didn't particularly enjoy. Anyway, Def Leppard for me, after On Through the Night, no thanks. I didn't like it, nor have I really liked any of their albums since. I did try, and you know, try to like High and Dry, Pyromania, Hysteria and whatnot, because I felt like I should make the effort given how good they were before all this, and you know, being a Sheffield crew. but each one of those albums just left me cold, and that was it. Now clearly I'm in the minority, because in the blink of an eye, back in the late 70s, early 80s, Def Leppard became a stadium act, playing in Omo domes all over the world, and still do. And fair play to them for making squillions of quid as a new wave of British heavy metal rooted band, which have made very, very good indeed. But they're just not for me. If you're not familiar with Def Leppard, and want to start from the beginning, well, why not pick up a copy of On Through the Night? It's the place where it all began. Link below to the album on Amazon if you would like to do that. Say, not for me, might be for you. But coming next, I've got some really under the radar new wave of British heavy metal era stuff, which should be dropping through the letterbox any day now, and that will start with a band called Excalibur, if anyone might remember them. And I'll do a video and a blog post about that when it does arrive, and somewhat one or two others that should be here in a few days as well. So all that to come. But in the meantime, Def Leppard, I say, not for me, probably are for you, and that's great. But we'll get back in a few days to some real under the radar but really, really excellent stuff from way back in the late 70s, mid 80s, when new wave of British heavy metal was right at the top of the tree. All right, anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please subscribe before you go, that'd be excellent. And as always, do take care.